Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. If you are a ninth grade biology student getting ready to crush your NYS Regents exams, and specifically looking to totally master the topic of interdependent relationships and ecosystems, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to reframe the way you think about ecosystems. We're looking at it for what it truly is, a massive, incredibly complex, and completely invisible web. We're going to uncover how every single piece, from the smallest little behavioral quirk of a single bird, all the way up to the global impact of our human cities, connects together. By the end of our time today, you're going to have a crystal clear overview of everything you need to know about ecosystem dynamics.
Okay, so here is our game plan for today. We are going to be covering Section 1, Group Behavior, Section 2, Carrying Capacity, Section 3, Population Biodiversity, Section 4, Ecosystem Stability, and we'll wrap it all up with Section 5, Human Impact. Let's dive right in.
Kicking things off with Section 1, Group Behavior, or, as I like to call it, Strength in Numbers.
So, this is our first stop, zooming way into the micro level. Now, group behavior isn't just animals casually hanging out together. It specifically refers to coordinated actions by a collection of individuals to increase their chances to survive and reproduce. And listen, that reproduction part, that is absolutely crucial for your Regents exam. It is not just about an individual living to see another day. It's about successfully passing on genetic material to the next generation. Engaging in group behavior provides a massive, distinct evolutionary advantage over trying to tough it out strictly as a lone individual.
And honestly, nature is just full of incredible, evidence-backed examples of this kind of cooperative behavior. Think about it. You've got massive flocks of birds twisting in the sky to confuse a predator, or schools of fish moving perfectly in sync to appear as one giant, intimidating organism. We see deer up in the Adirondacks herding together for protection. We see cooperative hunting in wolves working together to take down prey way larger than themselves. Then there's migrating together to find better seasonal resources, or even insects swarming. Every single one of these behaviors proves that, more often than not, there is absolute survival power in numbers. Moving right along to Section 2, Carrying Capacity, we're going to talk about the invisible ceiling. So if group behavior is so great for helping populations grow, what stops them from just growing forever? Why isn't the Earth completely covered in wolves? Well, to calculate that invisible ceiling, ecologists rely on two main categories of factors. On one side, we have biotic factors. Think of these as the living elements, or really the living challenges, like the intense, constant competition for food, mates, and territory. On the flip side, we have abiotic factors. These are the non-living elements: physical, geographical boundaries, water availability, the climate. It's the extremely interdependent relationship between these living and non-living factors that mathematically dictates exactly how many resources are actually available in an environment at any given second. When you mathematically combine those abiotic physical boundaries with all that biotic competition, the ecosystem eventually hits what we call its carrying capacity. This is the absolute maximum population limit a specific environment can sustainably support over time. And here's a fun fact. If a population blows right past this number, they literally eat themselves out of house and home, and the population sharply crashes. So once a population hits carrying capacity, the growth generally levels right off. It's essentially nature's strict mathematical boundary. Next up is Section 3, Tracking Population Biodiversity. Time to play the data detective. We've talked a lot about the math behind carrying capacity, but you might be wondering, how do scientists actually prove this stuff? Well, by becoming data detectives. When we compare population changes over time, we aren't just glancing at random numbers. We are tracking hard evidence. We can visually see when populations crash because they exceeded their carrying capacity, or watch them recover when resources finally replenish. These mathematical comparisons are literally the best way to prove changes in an ecosystem across all different timelines and scales. But hey, it's not just about the size of one single population, right? It's about the variety. Mapping out the proportions of different species lets us measure the total biodiversity in a specific area. By comparing multiple sets of this proportional data, we can instantly determine the overall health and richness of an ecosystem. Simply put, more biodiversity usually means a much stronger, much more resilient web. All right, on to Section 4, Ecosystem Stability and Change, which is really just nature's giant balancing act. Now that we know how to track the data, how do ecosystems actually maintain themselves? Most of the time, nature engages in a spectacular balancing act, but stability doesn't mean nothing ever happens. On one hand, we have modest changes. This could be moderate hunting or regular seasonal floods in a place like the Hudson Valley. A stable ecosystem can absorb these modest shocks and bounce back. But extreme changes, things like a permanent sea level rise or a massive volcanic eruption, those completely shatter the existing conditions. And here is a fascinating reality that you will definitely see on your biology exam. When those extreme disruptions hit, they don't just leave a barren wasteland forever. Changing conditions often result in the birth of a completely new ecosystem. This incredible process is called ecological succession. Over time, pioneering species move in, entirely new interactions form, and a completely different, yet newly stable web of life is established from the ground up.
And finally, zooming way out, we have Section 5, Human Impact and Solutions. What is our role in this web?
Because, let's face it, we are not just observers watching this web from the outside, we are very active participants in it. Human activities, things like massive urbanization, building dams that alter natural waterways, or the careless spread of invasive species like the zebra mussel in New York lakes, these completely rewrite the rules of local ecosystems. But it's not all doom and gloom. We also possess incredible tools to fix this. We can run advanced computer simulations, develop cutting-edge tech innovations, and pass critical environmental legislation to protect these spaces. So, how do we actually create solutions that reduce our impact? Scientists and engineers rely on a really critical iterative process. Step 1. Design a solution based on biological evidence. Step 2. Evaluate that solution using hard mathematical data to see if it's actually working out in the real world. And Step 3. Refine the solution to make it even more efficient. We never just guess. We systematically design, evaluate, and refine to ensure we are truly protecting the environment. Well, there you have it. We've traveled all the way from the coordinated hunting of a wolf pack to global human environmental legislation. You now understand how abiotic and biotic factors dictate carrying capacity, how data reveals ecosystem stability, and how massive change drives ecological succession. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge, right in your own backyard. Knowing how fragile and deeply interconnected this entire web is, what solution would you design, evaluate, and refine to protect the biodiversity in your own local ecosystem? Think like a biologist, look at the evidence all around you, and keep asking the big questions. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and good luck with your Regents prep. You're going to do great.